Welcome to everything I read in May and June. I think I read about 8 books. One I finished on July 1st, but I'm going to count it as June, but let's find them first. Okay, so here are all my books that I've read in May and June. A lot of colors going on. So the first book I read was Powerless by Lauren Roberts, and then the second book is coming out, which I'm very excited. This one, it's been trending on TikTok, so I'm sure you've heard of it, but if you haven't, it's a fantasy book where there's elites who have superpowers, if you want to call it that, and then ordinaries who have no powers, and they're trying to eliminate all the ordinaries if they haven't already. And Peyton, who is an ordinary, gets wrapped into this trial, and the royals think she has powers, but she doesn't. So it's very exciting. It's a romance too. I rated it 4.5 stars, and I'm very excited for the next one, if I didn't say that already. I think it got a little slow towards the end, but I really liked it. I didn't read the short story yet. I should read the short story. I think it's called Powerful with her best friend. 4.5 stars. Good story, reminds me of Red Queen. Anyway, the next book I read was a romance by Kingsbury. I rated this one 4 stars. It was a good book. It is placed in World War II, I think, and it's about a couple who become spies in the war. Well, she becomes a spy, he does not, but he's in the war. And first she falls in love with his brother, and then she starts having feelings for him, but then it's too late because they're in the war. So it was a good book. There was really nothing I didn't like. I'm not really into historical fiction too much, but I think it was a really good book and well written, and it kept my attention. And the next 3 books I read was a Girl's Guide to Murder series. This is probably my favorite series of the whole year so far. I rated the whole series 5 stars, and then each book 4.5, but the last one a 5 star. So the first book is about a girl named Pip, and she's investigating a murder case for her school project. And I just loved it so much. I love the characters, I love Robbie. I'm so excited for the show, but it doesn't come out until August 1st in the US. So that's a bummer, but I love this book. I love all the little charts, and I'm real sorry if there's any spoilers on this page. Next book I rated, this one's a little slower. Everybody seems to not like this book as much as the next one, but the ending is crazy, and I just loved it so much. I think this one's 4.5 stars. 4.5. This is my book journal if you're curious what I'm looking at. But anyway, I just love these books so much. I love the characters. It just keeps me hooked, and I just want to read all of it. I haven't read the short story for this one either because I wasn't sure if it was important or not. And then I read this book. This one gets progressively darker than the other ones. I was just on the edge of my seat the whole time, and I just want to read it all day, every day. It probably took me 3 days to finish the whole thing. But I just loved it. Everything about it, the ending, you think the middle is gonna be where it ends, but it just keeps going. And I just love it so much. And the next book I read was Mary Jane. I think this one I rated 3.5 stars. This is placed in the 1950s. She's 14, and she's a nanny for a rich family in her neighborhood, and she's from a very conservative family, and they're very progressive for the time. And I liked the beginning, but I kind of got bored in the middle. But I really liked the characters. I thought it was funny. I thought it was entertaining. Not my favorite book, but it's really good summer read. It takes place in summer. I don't know. Interesting though. And the next book I read was The Do-Over. I love this book so much. A solid 4-star romance. And it's about a time loop, which I was so excited when I heard a time loop. I really liked Miss Peregrine's series a couple years ago. That was like the first series I ever fell in love with. So a time loop was very exciting, and they're living on Valentine's Day every day. I think she did maybe 20 times, and I just loved it. It was just a cute romance. You didn't have to take it too seriously. I love the love interest. I'm so bad with names. Nick. I couldn't believe she ended on that day of all days in the book, and I love the ending. I just thought it was a sweet romance, good for summer, and I love the cover. The last book I read, I finished yesterday, is How to Walk Away by Katherine. This is a kind of a romance, but not really. I think it's more literary fiction. It's about our main character, Margaret, who gets in a plane crash, and it's a whole wild ride from there. She has to go through multiple surgeries and everything, and she ends up in a wheelchair, but it was her boyfriend who was flying the plane, and they got engaged on the plane. This is all like in the first chapter or whatever. I really liked it for the most part, but then towards the end, the last like 100 pages, I kind of lost interest. I do that with a lot of books recently, where I lose interest the last 100 pages. I don't know if that's my problem or the writer, but I really like Katherine Censor. Her books are all clean. There's a little bit of cursing. I've also read The Bodyguard by Katherine Censor and Hello Stranger. Hello Stranger I didn't love. I know a lot of people love that book. It kind of fell flat for me, especially towards the end. And then the other book, The Bodyguard, I really liked. I think it was 3.9, somewhere oddly specific. This one I rated a 3.9 also. So I think she's a really good author. I like her books. I like her writing style. It's really fun to go through the different stories. I'm so used to reading fantasy instead of kind of little romances or literary fiction. So it's interesting to read different genres. I've been really liking romance and just sweet little stories that you don't have to think too much about. But fantasy, I think, will always be very close to my heart. Now, onto the books I'm hoping to read in July. So yesterday I just started Feature Read. I know this is a very popular book on Book Talk and BookTube, so I'm very excited. I'm only 3 pages in, so not very far, but I'm very excited. I love the writing. She's very flowery in her writing, and I really like it. And it's a cute summer book, so I'm very excited. And the next book I'm hoping to read is Torch the Night. This is part of the Ember and the Ashes series. I've only read the first book and I finished that last year. I'm not sure why it's taking me so long to get to the second one. I bought this in October, but I saw Sarah on her channel reading this. So I really liked the first one, so I'm hoping she likes the second one, and maybe it'll convince me to start it. And the last one, I really liked Holly Jackson's books, so I'm reading 5 Survive next. I'm very excited for this one. I think mysteries were the first books when I was younger. I used to read the American Girl doll mysteries, and I think those were the first books I really, really liked. So reading A Good Girl's Guide to Murder was like, oh my goodness, my heart. So I haven't read much about this one. 8 Hours, 6 Friends, 5 Survived. So I'm very excited for this one. And now I'm gonna go read for a little bit.